Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Friday, the 31st of October. It's the last day of the month, last day of the week. So let's see where we end today. I don't expect a massively interesting day. However, Amazon posted earnings in the aftermarket yesterday, and we're going to look at that. Just have to tell you that this video is for educational only. There is no advice or recommendation whatsoever. Another thing I have to say is that I have received some feedback that the sound hasn't been too good lately. I have tried to fiddle around with it yesterday, and I hope it is much better today. Please do let me know if the sound is still too low or if there's anything else. All right, let's get cracking. And Amazon, yes, very strong earnings, especially in the cloud business, was released aftermarket yesterday. And as you can see here on the chart to the left, it was trading at 249 in the aftermarket, about 8% or something like that, higher than the close yesterday, actually quite high. Let's see where if we just measure it from the close, I think almost 10%, actually more than 10%, almost 12%. So that's where it's indicated to open today. Let's see when the pre-market will start trading, but a strong move and a new all-time high, I believe. So also very strong there. And Alphabet, just to mention that one, is continuing higher yesterday, but it opened much higher, but it couldn't hold on, so it actually sold out through the session. So maybe a warning sign of a little bit of a top there, at least short term. So that dragged on the market, and a few other things also dragged on the market. Microsoft was down 2.7%, and you see it also spiked higher, didn't make a new all-time high. But it did, I think, make a new all-time high close a couple of days ago, but couldn't hold on. So that also dragged on the market. And Tesla also dragged on the market, 4% lower in normal trading yesterday, around that number. So really also something to keep an eye on, that it didn't really... it couldn't really hold on. So that dragged on the market, and it will probably drag a little bit more on the market today. But on the other hand, then we have Amazon in the other direction. But let's look at the Nasdaq 100 that actually formed the top and reversal-like pattern here. We have a doji up here. We have a bearish candle yesterday. We had a bullish candle actually the day before there, and also again here we had it on the 27th. So short term, it does look like a top and reversal. We do have divergence on the RSI, as you can see. So despite the fact that we are up slightly pre-market, it could indicate we will have a top and reverse, because this doji evening star doji like pattern here seems to be toppish. Also weekly, a shooting star in the making. Let's see where we end today. That could be key for what November will be like. Pre-market, as I said, well, a little bit unchanged. Basically right there. And let's have a look at the S&P 500. S&P 500 also bearish yesterday, about 1% down, and pre-market basically unchanged, but also a top and reversal like pattern going on there. And Dow Jones, a bit of a shooting star like pattern here. Tried to lift it, but couldn't hold on throughout the session. So it looks toppish at the moment. Let's just very quickly look at the US 500. You can see dojis here, as we call them, opened and closed more or less in the same price. So we could come under pressure today. The Russell 2000, and it's fairly new. I have this one on the radar too. Well, it's not on the radar, but that I'm talking about it. I've done it for a couple of days now. Also here, look at that on the weekly. Bearish engulfing there on the weekly is likely to be formed. In the Asian session, Hang Seng also under pressure. It got rejected there at the key resistance at 26,506. And now we're also back below 26,000. So that doesn't really bode well for the Hang Seng index, and we could drop lower in the into next week. What is really still strong, we talked about it for quite some time now, Nikkei. It pushed higher well above 52,000. Really strong move indeed. It has done really well, and building up some divergence there on the RSI, but I don't have a top and reversal pattern in place just yet. So let's see where this could take it. But for now, really strong move indeed, or trend indeed. But it looks a little bit stressed, beginning to look a little bit stressed. In the European session yesterday, a lot of dancing, but didn't get anywhere really. Tested the minor support there at 56.74. Here pre-market basically unchanged. It has actually opened, so not really much to talk about. DAX also, it is still the 24,340 that it has failed to close above. So I think we could see it setting back here. Let's have a look at the Germany 40 CFD, and yeah, it's being held of the 55 and especially the 100 moving average here, but it looks to be to the heavy side, so it really needs to get back above the 24,408, and that is really something you struggle with. In the FX market, euro dollar key support 114.40, sorry, 115.40. Let's just adjust that a little bit. So there we are. 115.40 key support. If it's being tested, taken out, and I believe it will, well, then we are looking at 114, possibly lower actually, maybe all the way down to the 200 moving average. Negative sentiment, bearish trend, so that seems to be in the cards, but we need confirmation. Cable or sterling dollar, trading around the 131.40 support. You can see it goes all the way back here, so it's a key support that is dipped below. Will it bounce or will it keep pushing lower? I mean, I think we will see a bounce. It doesn't look like at the moment, but I think we'll see a little bit of bounce, but not much. We are in a bearish trend, and it seems to be fairly strong also in the weekly. I think we will see sterling dollar pushing lower after a correction. I do think we will see a correction up to around 132.50, 55 here, and the 200 moving average could bounce a little bit further, but let's see. Keep an eye on that. Euro sterling stalling a little bit, as you can see. Well, it spiked higher there on the 29th, that was on Wednesday, and it couldn't really follow through, so maybe we are in for a little bit of correction where it will sit back to around 87 and a half, 87.50, but the bullish trend, it is intact. And as you can see here also in the weekly, it is intact, and I think we will see euro sterling pushing higher eventually. And if it takes out the spike up there at 88, at 88.20, then we're looking at 88.50 and 89. On the dollar, dollar yen pushing higher, and there is room up to around 155, 154. 80, 155, and I think we'll reach that maybe today or early next week. You'll see here on the weekly, if the cat is really out the box. I mean, there's not much strong resistance. There's a little bit here around 154.80, but other than that, there's not much until this peak area here around 158 area. Euro yen also pushing higher, spiked higher yesterday, set back a little bit, but I think we will see it pushing higher here in the coming days. Can RSI break the upper falling trend line there? I think it will, as long as we stay above 176.60. The bullish trend is tagged, and it has its eyes on 180 area. Aussie yen trading around the peak here from earlier in October. Actually closed above it and seems to be pushing higher. I think we could see it pushing up to around 102, 102.40, these peaks area here. And you can see positive sentiment, bullish trend. So it looks fairly strong. Sterling yen, well, still in bouncing mode, and it needs to take out, and let me just add that horizontal line. So it needs to take out this area up here around 204.25. That is the key resistance. I think it will test it, but on the other hand, we could be boxed in here for at least today. It will take a little bit of a time. Underlying trend is bullish, as you can also see here on the weekly. It should push higher and test these peaks up here around 208. Aussie dollar. Well, not much to talk about, really. Sitting back a little bit, failed to close above the cloud. Let's have a better look at it. Setting back, and I think it will slide back to at least 65, which is the 61.8 retracement there. You can see RSI rejected at 60 threshold, so maybe we are sitting back even more, possibly down to the 786 retracement here at 64.75 area. The dollar Canada bounced from 50% of this uptrend here, and especially from the 55 moving average. So I think we'll see it pushing higher. Currently trading just around the 61.8 here at 140. I think it will push higher if it takes out the peak there yesterday, which is just around 140.15. Then the top here, peak here, could be taken out. And I think that's where we are, because we have positive sentiment on the RSI. There's no divergence. Just need RSI to get back above 60 threshold. And then I think we'll see a push much higher, above 140, 150. Sterling Canada. Will it form a bottom and reversal-like pattern? I mean, spiked much lower there on Wednesday. Thursday didn't do much. A lot of dancing on the spot, and could bounce here today. So what I will do, just in case it does it, then I have a little bit of a guidance where it could bounce to, of course, 185, the 200 moving average, and 185, and possibly up to the lower part of the cloud and the 38.2 retracement of this sell-off there at 186.19 area could be seen. However, if it takes out the lows there from the 29th from Wednesday, then we are looking at lows here in the region around 182. Swiss franc. Well, the Swiss franc is still in a bouncing mode, a bit of volatility, but it got up to 50%. I wouldn't be too surprised if it jumps up to around 93 level, which is the 61.8 retracement. But if it takes out that big candle there to the downside at 92.30, well, then I think we'll see lower levels around 9 and possibly below 92. Dollar index, dollar Swiss, of course. Currently trading just below the 786 retracement there at 80.30. I think we'll see it pushing higher. We do have positive sentiment, and if RSI is closing above 60 threshold, well, then we will see push up to around 81.50 area. It's in the cards, I would say. We are now above the 55 and 100. They're still declining a little bit, turning around, but so I think we'll see that bullish trend in that direction. Dollar index, and it yesterday closed above and is continuing today above the peak there at 99.31. As I mentioned quite a few times, a push towards 100, possibly 123 seems to be in the cards, and we can draw this rising trend line there. So now we have a little bit of guidance, further guidance, bullish trend, a positive sentiment, no divergence. I think we'll see it pushing higher up there. And also think in the reverse that euro dollar then could drop lower. Gold. Is it a bouncing mode a little bit? Can it stay, as long as it stays above? And let's just adjust, because this is now the key one. 38.86, 3,886. Can it bounce and to push up to at least 4,075, but if it can take out 4,162, then we're likely to see a bullish trend to resume. So key thing, it hasn't cancelled its divergence here on the RSI. It should do that by closing below 40 threshold, but for now it's in a bouncing mode, and it could keep doing that. Here we have the future, same picture of course, but sometimes it's a little bit different. Silver has bounced even further, and it's actually formed this bottom and reverse like pattern here with the doji that spiked lower but closed more or less unchanged there a few days ago, and now pushing higher and currently above the 38.2 retracement. I think we'll see it at $50, could be today, early next week, and could push up to 51, which is the 61.8 retracement. So, and if that scenario plays out, then we will have RSI back above the 60 threshold, and then we are back in confirming the positive sentiment, because we are still in it. The RSI didn't close below the 40 threshold. The platinum, 1662 to the upside and 1494 to the downside. That is the range, and I think we'll see a push higher. Copper, well, back below 515, still in a bullish trend, but it is struggling a little, but still in a bullish trend. As we can see here, there is some divergence. You can see that the RSI has been declining, or the values there have been declining. We did get a higher close there, so there's actually a little bit of divergence now on the ISI and this push here. So it really needs to get back above and especially take out 528, and then I think we will see a strong push towards previous peaks. But for now, it's a little bit of correction. But however, you can see 55 early next week. It is likely to close above the 200. So we have a gold cross there. And then the next one in a couple of weeks' time, that would be the 100 moving average that could be broken above. So that the underlying trend is actually bullish and positive, but it's just a correction phase. On the energy markets, crude oil still dancing sideways. I still believe will slide lower. RSI bearish or negative sentiment indicating just that. The Brent Crude oil, more or less the same picture. Obviously, it is $64. That is the key support. European nat gas, still nothing going on. Still the range bound here. So let's move on. The US nat gas, on the other hand, strong move. Again, we talked about it could come, and it did, and about $4, pushing towards this peak there at just around 415, and we can see where we are headed. Weekly chart, if it does close above 60 threshold here on the weekly chart, the RSI, well, then there is much more in store. At least that's what it's indicating for the US nat gas. We have established a bullish trend then, and it could push higher. But I would expect a little bit of a setback after 415, and maybe another push higher. On the interest rate and yields side, we have the US 10-year Treasury yield, and I'm keeping the weekly on here. As you can see, we pushed higher almost up to the 786 retracement of 412 and the 55 moving average just below the cloud RSI flirting with the 60 threshold. So that would be key here towards today and going into next week. Also here on the weekly, we kind of have a bottom and reversal like pattern there going on, with bearish move down here, a doji like pattern, and then a bullish candle here this week. So maybe it's turned the tide at least a little bit, and we could see it up to around 420, maybe even these peaks area here. Let's see about it. It will be a struggle from now on. I'm quite sure about that, or I feel confident about that. European yields, we have the EU10 bouncing further this early morning here, and I think we could see it at 262. where it could meet some quite strong resistance. Unless it slides back below 260, then it seems to be headed for 262, possibly higher there. And in UK, it's still interesting that it's still holding on there. Same picture as we talked about, still holding on above 437. Japanese one still can't make up its mind here the past couple of weeks, but still overall in a bullish trend. Finally, on Bitcoin, got hit back there, and will it resume downtrend? It could do that. So it seems like Bitcoin is not really in there. I think we could see it maybe sliding back to 100,000. And Ethereum finally, basically sideways. And 3,510 and 3,354 key support area, and resistance 42.82. All right, that's all for today and this week. Have a nice weekend when you get to there, and take care out there. It could be a rough ride still.